What's going on, everybody? It's Jack and Lockie from the Hardwood Rundown podcast. We are back with episode 17 of The Return. Today we've got a juicy episode. We've been gearing up towards basically in every season preview episode. We've been talking about Ben Simmons. And
I don't know why with every single team.
Right, just it always happened. I don't know why, but we're very interested in this. It's a big topic at the moment. Let's get into it. There's plenty of teams he's linked to. There's a lot of drama involved with it. He's acting like a bit of a diva, but like also the front office is not treating him a certain way. It's pretty interesting. So let's get into it.
All right. Yeah, so obviously probably the biggest piece of drama in the league at the moment. Ben Simmons declining his teammates coming to LA to go hang out with him and try and see him and stuff is just like I kind of get it because he's definitely past like the point of caring.
Yeah.
And like part of that is on the organization as well. And Doc Rivers. I was watching like his press conference after that game 6 came onto my YouTube feed. And that he got asked the question, he's like, is Ben Simmons capable of being a championship point guard? Even if it's not true, even if he's not, you still have to say, yeah, he is. I believe in him. As soon as you say, I don't know, that's just when the doubt into the player's mindset just gets kicked in.
Exactly. If you're going to tell him that, tell him it in person. You don't.
Exactly.
Got to keep the media out of it.
And I think that was obviously his confidence took a huge blow, not just from that comment, but from people on social media, players around the league. Obviously, not going up for that dunk at the end of the game. Kind of, I don't know. He's just scared. I think he just seems scared to be aggressive because if he goes to the free throw line and he misses free throws,
Yeah.
But I think there was a lot of pressure on Ben coming into that playoff series because they wanted to see the dominance. They saw it for part of the season, but still, he hasn't made much progression from his first year. Like his stats are almost identical.
Yeah.
He's better defensively, however, probably the best perimeter defender in the league. But when you have your coach saying, I don't know if he's a championship point guard, and then when you say I'm going to demand a trade, and then your team that you're on now, the Philadelphia 76ers, are like taking so long to try and find a deal. Whereas when Jimmy Butler requested a trade 3 years ago, he got traded instantly.
Yeah.
Almost instantly.
Which is so different somehow.
And it's just like, and it's the same team though. It's Philly. Like, you would think Daryl Morey is a great president of basketball operations. But at the same time, you've got to respect that player at the same time because you disrespected him to start.
Yeah.
There are so many different teams that could use Ben Simmons and have the assets to go out and get him. Number one team in my eyes that would probably work the most, I think it's Minnesota. I think that's probably like the best fit. And then you've obviously got Houston, which would actually also be a great fit. I think Minnesota have more win now assets, whereas Houston have more rely on the future assets. And I think if I was the Sixers, I would look at a Minnesota trade over anything because you've got D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Anthony Edwards and Cat are both off the table, I would assume.
Yeah.
But you've got D'Angelo Russell, who 3 years ago was one of the best scoring guards in the league. Malik Beasley, who is probably one of the best scoring role players in the league. You could trade Ben Simmons for those two. And I think it works for both sides.
Jeez, I'd be so happy if I was the Sixers in that situation.
Well, yeah, because like I think they're both scorers, and like you lose you lose defensive ability for defensive liability, but you use lack of scoring. You get rid of lack of scoring for like elite scoring.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest knock on the Sixers last year is that they didn't have enough strike power at that guard spot.
Yeah.
Their main strike power was Seth Curry, who is like an amazing role player.
Yeah.
But when your point guard, your 6'11" point guard doesn't want to shoot the ball, that's when you become a liability. And he's been a liability for a long time. At that forward spot, he looks like an elite forward because he's obviously been able to play making the post. He still hits fadeaways every now and then. He's got great post-game can finish inside, like one of the best rim runners in the league. And I think if he was to go to Minnesota and be paired with someone like Cat in that front court, holy shit.
Yeah, that'd be
I'd say that is a better mix. I say that's a better duo than him and Joel because Cat is more of a reliable shooter.
Yeah.
From three.
And I guess more athletic, and that works with Ben's game as well.
Ooh, exactly. And then look, the only thing I have is you'll just lose a lot of strike power if you're Minnesota. But you gain a franchise cornerstone. I said this, I don't know what episode I said it. But whatever team, Ben Simmons is the type of player that you can build a franchise around. Like he's that guy. Yes, he's got zero confidence at the moment, probably. All these off-season mixtapes are just complete bullshit because when he gets to the game, he doesn't actually do it.
Yeah.
And like the whole being a diva thing, like I don't really understand it, but like, and then giving your top 3 destinations, saying like I want to go to California and all that stuff. They're not trading you to California.
Trading to the Kings.
Sacramento's in California. That's like the closest bit you'll get to a good part of it.
Yeah. Well, he went to Sacramento. That'd actually be a sick trade because I would love to get like a Buddy Hield back for that and another guard or something like that. Or even like a Harrison Barnes. I don't know. I think there'd be a lot you could do there.
Yeah, I think it's obviously a tough spot. And I love Ben Simmons. I love watching him play. I think he's like very dominant. But yeah, I do feel bad for him because he's getting a lot of the blame for it.
Yeah.
And I was watching JJ Redick's pod. Shout out JJ Redick, great career.
Yeah.
He had an interview with Matisse Thybulle. And very good interview.
Yeah.
And he was saying they were talking about Ben Simmons, and Matisse Thybulle was like, I was the one that made the foul with like 30 seconds left. Like that's like, and I haven't copped any slack at all. I haven't copped anything. But because Ben Simmons doesn't go out with a dunk when there's Trae Young underneath him, he gets all the slack.
That's so true.
He cops it all. Doc Rivers had a terrible coaching series. Didn't make adjustments to lose to an Atlanta team. Yes, they were very good. Atlanta's very good, don't get me wrong. But when you're Philadelphia and you have Joel Embiid as your franchise piece, and also Ben Simmons, you've got to make it work somehow. And it just didn't work. You went to a 6-game. You took what was it? Washington, was it 5 or 6 games? I think it was 6.
Yeah, the fact that Washington pushed.
The fact that Washington got games up.
It was 5. Yeah.
The fact that Washington even got a game up on you.
Yeah.
When you were apparently the best team in the East.
And Philly are supposed to be, or they're a good defensive team, and they have so many good individual defenders, and yet Trae Young was going off. Like, Bogdanovic was having a great series. You know what I mean? Like,
was having a good series.
Like, you need to utilize the fact that you have defenders. Like, put them on.
And I think Doc Rivers, he didn't get anything. He didn't cop anything. Tobias Harris didn't cop anything. Yeah. Tobias Harris is the most inconsistent player on that team, and I will keep saying that till the day I die. And he's got none of the slack. The only player that you can let off is probably Seth Curry, and maybe Matisse. But other than that,
but even so, Matisse. I like how he said
the
that.
Sixers out of team had a bad series.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all Ben Simmons' fault, and he's just the scapegoat, in my opinion. Like Melo in Houston, he was the scapegoat because they were losing all them games.
Yeah, just because it's like a big name, they'll put the blame on. Like role players have just as much responsibility. Yeah. People always act like the star player has to like be the redeeming face, or like has to save every time, but like it's just not realistic at all. What about Ben to Portland? Because I'd love obviously a Ben Dame trade. The Sixers would have to give up a young piece like Maxey or Thibault, and even Seth Curry, like it'd have to happen. So probably not. But even a Ben for CJ, that could actually potentially work.
I think I'm not saying that ship has sailed because I think Portland would still like do it in a heartbeat. But I think like sounds weird, but in my opinion, CJ is way more valuable than Ben Simmons
You reckon?
because he's coming. Like Portland would know that he's going to change that whole Philadelphia system if he gets traded there. So, and I think you'll bring on Ben Simmons, who is like a borderline, no, not borderline. He's a jump shot away from being the next LeBron James, according to Stephen A. Smith, who's been saying that for years.
Thanks, Stephen.
But I think if you were traded for CJ, Philly would have to give up something else as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't just be a straight swap because I think
right, but I don't know. I think Ben's more valuable just because CJ with Dame hasn't really had got many wins. Like
yeah, and I get that, but I think if he went to Philly, that whole team would change. And like CJ's a very underrated playmaker. He's an elite scorer. He's not a terrible defender. I think he would gel really well with that team. But obviously, the whole thing is that you would lose a lot of defensive ability. Yeah. But damn, I would honestly love Ben and Dame on the same team. Like I think it would be good. I don't know. Like I feel like it's too hard to predict at the moment because like Philly haven't come out and said anything. There was something with the Nuggets that they would trade for Ben Simmons, which like that's ruined my day. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I wrote that down. I was like, who would they trade, and how would it even help each side?
Well, like
there's
Michael Porter Jr. But like, why would you trade? No, I would never trade Michael Porter Jr. for Ben Simmons, and I would never trade Jamal Murray for Ben Simmons.
That'd be dumb as hell.
The only reason I would like Jokic and Ben Simmons, how would that work? They're both playmaking forwards. Well,
big men.
Big men.
Yeah. That does not make sense.
I don't understand that. I remember there was talks before, like when it first started, there was like Pascal Siakam for Ben Simmons, which like I like, but then you've got a lot of front court power.
Yeah.
Tobias can obviously play the three.
Yeah.
I think that ship sailed. The Cleveland Cavaliers was a good. I actually thought that was not a bad like destination because the Cavs can give up Colin Sexton, Kevin Love, and like 2 picks or something. And Kevin Love would fit that team because he can just come in off the bench, just be a pop man and just score. And then Sexton's obviously an elite young scorer. I think he could come in and really change that team. But I still think Minnesota is probably like the best option because like Minnesota need to make a playoff push. And I think Ben Simmons can help do that.
Yeah.
And D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley probably not.
Yeah.
Because you obviously gain a lot of the thing with Minnesota is they can't play defense because they don't have any good defenders on their team. Yeah. Besides, like Cat's a good rim protector.
Or like
but
Josh
like
Key,
But like Cat is not a defensive center.
Yeah.
Like I would 100% give up D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley solely for defensive purposes because like you've already got Ben Simmons can score at the rim. Cat can score from outside. Anthony Edwards is going to become like one of the best young scorers in the league.
All around, yeah.
And like that's kind of your big three. And then you've obviously got Jaden McDaniels, Josh Okogie, who I reckon they'll trade mid-season. Patrick Beverley, everyone forgets about.
Jared Vanderbilt,
Jared Vanderbilt, like who's a great defender. Like I don't know. I think it's just too hard at the moment to like pick a team, but like it's obviously very important to talk about.
Yeah. Well, what about So you go D'Lo and Beasley for Simmons.
Yeah.
What about for John Wall trade? When I first saw this, I was like, hell no. But I was thinking that could actually work. It would work best for Houston in that situation.
Yeah.
So as a Sixers fan, I'm like, But I still think John Wall can have like a sick, like, impact on the Sixers roster, and he doesn't have to have that pressure to be the top scorer he can just kind of come on, slash a bit, do his thing.
Yeah.
Um, you still have a playmaker. You still have a guy who can defend when he wants to. Yeah, what do you think?
I like it. I like that, but I think Houston would have to give up more, obviously. And like thinking of it now, I actually don't know who you would
Eric
give up.
Gordon.
Eric Gordon would be really like a really good fit
Hmm.
for Philly. Yeah, John Wall, Eric Gordon, maybe some picks for Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Because like when you think about it, Ben Simmons is going to come to Houston. They won't make the playoffs, but he'll like change the culture there.
Mm.
And I think he'll not change it, but I think he'll fit in not really well with like the culture they've got now that they've just started again.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jalen Green, Christian Wood's a stretch five, a good post player, and that front court of Ben Simmons and Christian Wood would work well with like Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr.
Yeah.
That's their backcourt for the start of the year. Jay Sean Tate, Kenyon Martin Jr. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of potential with Houston.
Yeah.
If I'm Houston, I'm going after it.
I would, pull the trigger. John Wall's not going to do anything for you while you're rebuilding.
And instead of buying him out, you may as well get heaps of value back.
Yeah.
You just might have to give up a few more pieces. But the only thing is Philly's just very, like, they must know what they want. Honestly, they must know what they want. Because they've had some good offers. And they have turned a lot of them down.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they got one from Golden State, which was really good. I think it was like Andrew Wiggins, a few picks, and maybe like one of the young boys. But they didn't pull the trigger. I don't know why, because like that was at the peak when he first requested a trade.
Yeah.
That was even before that. That was even before he requested a trade. They offered Andrew Wiggins. If I'm the Philadelphia 76ers, I'm pulling that.
You reckon?
Andrew Wiggins, who's a 20-point-a-game scorer, who's an anti-vaxxer.
That's an important detail to throw in.
Yeah. No, I think, I don't know. It's so hard to talk about because, like, you don't really know.
Yeah. Look, Sixers have, past couple of years, they have, like, a really deep guard, like, rotation. Like, really solid guys, but it's like, how much production are you going to get out of all of them if you can't give them the minutes that they deserve? Like, Alec Burks was there, Glenn Robertson the third was there, Seth Curry is there. You got Tyrese Maxey there. You got and also on the wings, like you got Korkmaz off the bench. You got Thibault. Like there's a lot of minutes to go around, and those players you kind of they need their 25. They can't be there for like just like 18 or someone like that. So I think when the Sixers decide to trade Simmons, they need to package a bunch of the guards there. I mean, I'm not happy with trading Thibault or Maxey or even Curry, but you kind of need to get rid of some of your guard and your wing depth, and get back someone. I think get back two pieces. I don't think one's enough. I think you get two solid pieces back, to kind of account for Simmons leaving. And we have picks, like we have options to trade. And I wouldn't even be opposed to throwing Tobias Harris in there. Not even kidding. Yeah, it's a hot take. No, but I do think I love Tobias Harris. I think he's a really solid player, great locker room guy, and 20-point scorer. Right? But yeah, as you said, he's the most inconsistent player on the team. If you can package him with Simmons, you can get something huge back. I think you could get Dame back for that.
I do think you can get Dame for that.
Now, like Cap, I'm not sure how that would work, but you could get a legit superstar back for that group and some other pieces.
What if? What about like a trade, like a straight swap, Ben Simmons for like Giannis? Would you do that?
Are you kidding right now? What the fuck? I would do that if I was. I thought you were being serious.
What about like Ben Simmons for like Bobby Portis?
If I'm the Bucks, no. Bobby Portis is too valuable to my city.
Oh god. I also
Fuck's
think
sake.
New York would be a good spot.
Yes, that'd be sick.
Um, but like
Fournier.
I don't know what they would. Fournier, Derrick Rose, um,
Oh,
uh, fuck,
Alec Burks.
Obi Toppin.
Yeah.
All right, PS5. Let's do it. Um, yeah. So
Shit,
I don't
yeah.
know. I think there's a lot of different opportunities.
Yeah.
But like honestly, I really don't know what else there is to talk about here.
I mean, we've gone through all the main ones, like with Trailblazers, Nuggets, Wolves, Cavs. Honestly, the best one does look like the Wolves. If
Yeah.
Timberwolves are willing to give up those two, I don't know if they would, but if they're willing to give up D'Lo and Beasley, fuck, like I would pull the trigger, and it would
Wow.
actually help them. Yeah,
It would help them.
would help them. So yeah, Ben to the Wolves. I don't think many people have been talking about that, to be honest. I haven't
No.
seen it.
No.
Um, but I'd like to see that. Oh yeah, and comment below. Like, let us know what you think. Like, where you think Ben should go. Because like, there's so much uncertainty. It's actually interesting to see what other people
Yeah.
think about it.
For
Definitely.
sure. Guys, I've also got some really bad news. I spoke to Lockie about this the other day. I went to start recording a Boston Celtics franchise series that I have been like talking about heaps because I've been like heaps keen to do it. I pulled out my Elgato that I've had for like 6 years, more than that, 7 years, and it didn't work.
Mhm.
So for the time being, the Boston Celtics franchise is going to be postponed until probably when I can get like a new thing. Which sucks because I was like really keen for it. I kept talking about how excited I was to start filming it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's not going to happen. I wanted to do like a my career too, but obviously can't do that at the moment. So unfortunately, we can't do that. I'm really sorry about that. Not that a lot of people really cared, but
I
I
care.
cared.
I care.
Yeah, we both cared. It sucks, but we'll figure it out at some
Yeah.
point.
Right.
But for now, we're just going to keep doing our thing with this. Um, loving this shit. You know, we
Yeah,
say it
you know
every
how
time.
it be.
You know
Yeah.
how it be. We love this shit. Can't wait for the season to start. We've got
Yeah.
about 3 and a bit weeks till the season starts. We might be covering some preseason stuff too. Um, and yeah, I
Let's
don't know.
fucking go.
That's Ben Simmons.
Trade.
This episode should just be called Ben Simmons. Nothing else. Just
Just
Ben
Ben
Simmons.
Simmons.
Um,
I'll do that. Yeah, easy.
yeah. So that was Ben Simmons trade ideas. Ben Simmons drama video. Whatever you want to call it. We talked about it. And yeah, next episode we're about to record. We're going to be doing our next 2 episodes will be the Western and Eastern Conference predictions in terms of seeding. So now, like Lockie and I were talking about it, we've kind of already covered it in the season preview. Um, in case you missed it, the playlist is on our channel. Um, Basically, we're just going to be seeding the conferences as well as the playing teams. So yeah, they're going to be very quick episodes. They won't be too crazy.
Mm.
But yeah, just giving you our little thoughts on it. If there's any video ideas you think of, let us know in the comments. Let us know on our Instagram, DM us, all
Yeah.
that good stuff. And yeah, let's
Let's
go.
go.
We out.